And then I'll go live. All right. I gotta turn my. Okay. I just gotta turn my thing down. All right. Okay. All righty, I'm here. Hello, everybody. Just want to make sure it comes up right. I have my computer over there I'm looking at. I think I got to move you over a little bit. I have to start remembering that. Okay, let me get this back on camera. Alrighty. Okay, there we go. So now both things can see me. All right, so hello everybody. Let me wash my hands to start out with. Let me move all this over here. So today we are going to be making an Amish barbecue, but I am going to be mixing it up a little bit. Okay. I'm going to be mixing it up a little bit because I am going to make it into a pierogi casserole. Not all of it. I'm going to save a little bit of it for barbecue sandwiches. But some of it I'm going, because I have 3 pounds of hamburger I got out. So what we're going to do first of all is I already pre-cut my onion. I'm going to take this hamburger and we're going to get it into here. Like I said, this is 3 pounds of hamburger, so. Alrighty. There we go. Alright, let's get that turned on a while. I want to wash my hands back up again. Give me 1 second here. I got to move the garbage over. Okay. Let me wash my hands back up again. Okay. So, this is, like I said, 3 pounds of hamburger. And then I have onion. I'm not going to use all this onion. I want some for anybody that wants it for on their sandwiches. So, we're going to leave some of it out. Okay. Let's get this started. What I have here is I have a classic pack of pierogies, mini pierogies that I got. So we're going to use that. I tried to be prepared today as much as I could be. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this all made up, and then we're going to go off, and I'm going to we're going to get it all ready. I'm going to put it in the oven, and then I'll come back like 45 minutes later and show it all to you, because it takes about 45 minutes to get it till it bakes, because you got to bake it for about 25 minutes, 25 minutes. Then you pull the aluminum foil off, and then you bake it again for another 10-15 minutes. But you'll see that then. So I'm trying to get this. I'm going to need this. Okay, so this is a little bit different for the barbecue. Just so you know, it's not your traditional Sloppy Joe barbecue. And it's surely not out of a jar. So, it's really good. So, some people might wrinkle up their nose, but trust me, if you try it, you'd really like it. Alright, so we got barbecue. We do want it pretty much down to little pieces. So, just so you know that. Like I said, this is a little bit different than what people are used to. So, hope everybody's having a good day. I wasn't here yesterday, so I said I would come on today. Yesterday I had work. So, and if I don't work, I can't do these shows, because this is what actually pays for these shows, pretty much. All right. So we're going to ground this all up. I don't know if I have enough hamburger in there, onion in there or not. Trying to let this here, you got to make sure all the pink's out of it. So I just don't think that looks like a lot of onion, and I got it pretty much. I'm going to put a little bit more in there. I got it pretty much in there. We don't need all that onion. If I do need more onion for the sandwiches, I can always make it. All right. I got a new chopper thing. My other one was a Pampered Chef one. I like that one so much better, but it's a couple years old and it's starting to wear out. But this one here sticks. I don't know why. I should go back to my old one and see if I can find a Pampered Chef dealer to get another one. Because that one there, I'm not big on. I don't know why, but I'm going to go back to this one. So, like I said, I can find it. Go online, I'm sure, and find somebody that I can get one from. So, while this is grounding, we're going to be taking, as soon as that gets browned up, we're going to be taking 1.5 cups of ketchup. I think I have a 2 cup. Actually, I have a 1.5 cup. Imagine that. Yeah, I got these like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I didn't use them all yet. But I literally do have a 1.5 cup. Okay. Perfect. We're going to be taking 1.5 cups ketchup. Trying to get this done. So, I'm going to stay on until I get the casserole made. This is going to take about, I put 20-25 minutes, but 10 or 15 minutes should be fine to let it simmer. Especially with the ones I'm putting in the casserole, because that'll help it bake there too. Just trying to blend the flavors in there a little bit. So, don't know if I'm coming on tomorrow yet or not. I got to think about something I want to make. So we'll wait till tomorrow and see. I will let you know, though, if I do. I probably will, but I'm not 100% sure. So, all right. This is where it's going to get a little tricky. And you'll see what I mean. All right, this hamburger is done. And I got it all mashed up. All right, let me get all that extra grease out of there. Let me get this out of here. Okay. Like I said, this was 3 pounds. You don't have to use 3 pounds. But I had gotten 3 pounds out because I knew I wanted to try to make this casserole. So, just trying to drain all that grease off of there. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. So now we're going to add our stuff into it. Let me get another paper towel. Okie doke. Here is 1.5 cups of ketchup. I'm going to turn this down a little bit for now. Okay. Then we're going to add 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. I used my 1/2 cup for something else. So I'm going to have to use this one. Okay. Thank God for emergency ones, right? All right, here's 1/2 cup. I need it packed, so. I don't use this too often. Alrighty. So let's get this in here and get this packed in here. Okay. Like I said, you want it packed. As such, there you go. Okay, then after that, I haven't made this in a long while. I need 2 tablespoons of honey. I told you it's going to be different. So, I mean, I make it another way too with some of these ingredients, but not all of them. But I make it 2 different ways when I make it. But I do always use vinegar and Worcestershire sauce and, what's this one? 2 teaspoons. I need the tablespoon. There you go. I need 2 tablespoons of honey, and I'm just using regular honey. So, that's the only problem with honey. It's really, really slow. All right. I'm just going to sit that beer right on there like that and let that go ahead and get in there a little bit. All right, then to this I need to add a tablespoon of maple syrup. This is where it's going to get a little different, but trust me. So I'm going to use a tablespoon of maple syrup. Then I'm going to use a tablespoon of Karo syrup. You could use, if you don't have maple and Karo, but you have molasses, you could use that. This is pretty much making the same thing as a molasses. I'm using a clear Karo and maple syrup. And that pretty much makes molasses, is what it does. So I just didn't have any molasses, but I have maple and Karo, so I thought I'd just make it myself. Okay, there's that. Then to this, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of mustard. Like I said, I make it the other way too. I make it with everything but the Karo, the maple syrup, and then the breadcrumbs. I don't always put in it either. There's the 2 tablespoons of mustard. I'm going to start with a tablespoon of vinegar. Later on, if it's too sweet for you, you can add a little bit more vinegar to it. Then I need a garlic powder and onion powder. Okay. I need a teaspoon of garlic powder and a teaspoon of onion powder. There's the garlic. And here's the onion. Okay. All right, there's that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix all this up. And I'm going to let it come to a boil. Then I'm going to turn it down and simmer it for a little bit. It might get a little liquidy, but that's okay, because the next step, you'll see why it's okay. All right, so we're going to turn that down and we're going to simmer this. It's already cooking. We're going to simmer this for a little bit. So while we're letting that simmer, where's that? We're going to take and spray our pan up a little bit that we're going to be using. I don't need this anymore. It smells really good. I don't need that, and I don't need the Karo anymore. The vinegar I might need. I never did need this. I don't even know why. Well, no, I'm just going to spray that. That's, I think, why I got it out, because I was going to put some in the bottom of this, but I'm just going to spray this. All right, there's a little bit of spray in the bottom of this pan. I'm going to turn my oven on and preheat it to 350. Like I said, some of this I'm going to leave out for sandwiches. Okay, so I'm going to take and put a cup of breadcrumbs in there. These are homemade breadcrumbs. I made them. Like I said, don't come after me. It's just that it thickens it up. Just put them in gradually. You might not need the whole cup, because it really depends on your hamburger too. But this is pretty much a thickener for this. Because did you ever make sloppy joes and they were like so wet that they made your roll get really, you know, it came out of your roll that, you know, it was really, really like runny. And that's why you put these in there. All right. we're going to let that go for a minute. I'm going to get ready and I'm going to get my, I have a 20, these are the minis. You don't have to use minis. There's 56 pierogies in here. It's a 25.6 ounce bag of pierogies. Like I said, we're going to do this in 2 parts again, like I always do, because I'm not going to keep you on here then while I'm doing this. I will show you what this looks like, though, after it's done. If you don't want to put the breadcrumbs in, you don't have to, just so you know that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this. I'm going to leave it go for about another 5 minutes. And then I'm going to try it and make sure it's not too sweet. And then I'm going to pull about 2 cups of it out for sandwiches. And the rest is going to be used for the pierogi casserole. All right, so I'm going to go over this with you while I'm waiting for this to get